of these vicious illegal aliens. This was the comments of Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. As a career law enforcement officer and a career officer with ICE, I've been dealing with these countries for years now, having to see repeated murderers, sex offenders, violent criminals re-released back into the United States because their home countries would not take them back. This is acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Under President Trump and under the leadership of Secretary Noam, we are now able to remove these public safety threats so they won't prey on the community anymore. Now, here are some of the criminal, illegal immigrant monsters the activist judge is trying to protect. And I hate to share their names, but this is proof in the pudding for you so that you, the viewer, can make up your mind about what's happening with illegal immigration in this country. Enrique Arias Hero, a citizen of Cuba. He has convictions of homicide, armed robbery, strong arm robbery, kidnapping, and false impersonation of an official. He was arrested by ICE on May 2nd of this year. Jose Manuel Rodriguez Quinones, a citizen of Cuba. He has convictions for attempted first-degree murder with a weapon, battery larceny, cocaine possession, and cocaine trafficking. He was arrested by ICE on April 30th. Thongyang Nilakot, a citizen of Laos. He has convictions for first-degree murder and robbery. He was arrested by ICE on January 26th of this year. Jesus Munoz Gutierrez, a citizen of Mexico. He has a conviction for second-degree murder. He was arrested by ICE on May 12th of this year. Dion Peter Domak, a citizen of South Sudan. He has convictions for robbery, possession of firearm, possession of burglar's tools, and also possession of a defaced firearm and driving under the influence. He was arrested by ICE on May 8th. Kiwa Mia, a citizen of Burma. He has a conviction for lascivious acts with a child victim less than 12 years of age. Perhaps the worst thing anyone can do. He was arrested by ICE on February 18th of this year. Neo Myint, a citizen of Burma. He has a conviction for first-degree sexual assault involving victim mentally and physically incapable of resisting, and has also been charged with aggravated assault, a non-family strong arm. He was arrested by ICE on February 19th. Tuan Thon Phan, he's a citizen of Vietnam, has convictions for first-degree murder and second-degree assault. He was arrested by ICE on May 3rd of this year. Assistant Secretary McLaughlin also stating a local judge in Massachusetts is trying to force the United States to bring back these uniquely barbaric monsters who present a clear and present threat to the safety of the American people and American victims. While we are fully compliant with the law and court orders, it is absolutely absurd for district judges to try and dictate the foreign policy and national security of the United States of America. And just to echo Secretary of State Marco Rubio's words yesterday against Van Hollen, the incompetent senator from Maryland, no judge can tell President Trump nor Secretary of State Marco Rubio how to conduct foreign policy and diplomacy for the United States. It's a separation of the branches. There's no oversight. It is in the sole authority and purview of the executive office. And they are making it safer every single day by securing the border and by dialoguing with those who are friends and those who are foes in order to enhance our national security with the Golden Dome and with those deals abroad. We saw it last week with that foreign trip to the Middle East, trillions of dollars being brought back to the United States by President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio for their diplomatic efforts. Thank you to All Family Pharmacy for sponsoring us here on the right side of history. President Trump recently signed a powerful executive order to lower prescription drug prices across the country. This is a major step in a fight for affordable health care. But while all these systems drag their feet, one pharmacy is not doing so, but rather working for you, the American people. All Family Pharmacy is stepping up now to support that vision and put control back into your pocket with the hands of the American people. With a summer sale running through the end of June, right now you can get 20% off everything site-wide. No insurance needed. This company works with licensed doctors in all 50 states. With your prescriptions are shipped fast and directly to your door, even overnight. Whether you're ordering ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, methylene blue, antibiotics, emergency medicines, and medical kits essential to you. In fact, over 200 essential medications available. It's now time to stock up. If you believe in medical freedom and being prepared for what's ahead, this is the pharmacy for you. So allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, 20% off now of your entire order with RSBN20. A great code, easy to remember there. Take control of your health today. Let's make America healthy again. And thank you to Colonial Metals Group. If you scan the QR code on your screen or go to freegoldguy.com/RSBN, all of the no obligation information for you there, for you and your family members, for your best bet against inflation. That's gold and silver. Look at the Chinese Communist Party playing war games against Taiwan, one of America's leading trading partners. And even with the great deals pre the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia trips for President Trump, we had Secretary Bessent and Secretary Jameson Greer in Switzerland, specifically in Geneva, negotiating with Chinese communist counterparts for that 10% threshold to remain in place with 90 days of further negotiations. You still need that gold and silver in addition to properties, assets, a 401k or IRA to protect your financial future. You've seen Paul Stone, the great CEO on this network, being interviewed. Gold has gone up since 1971, over 7,000% in value, never down. So gold and silver, tangible metals that can protect you regardless of who's in charge and what kind of government you live under. freegoldguy.com/RSBN, your gold guide and go-to. No obligation today, just see your options. But people like acting U.S. District Attorney in the District of Columbia, our nation's capital, Judge Jeanine Pirro, she endorses this group, and so do we on the right side of history. So thank you for your sponsorships of this great network, your go-to live desk as we cover all of the breaking news taking place here in your good old US of A. Also today, the Angel families urge Republicans to pass the big, beautiful bill to secure the border to prevent further tragedies. There must be a change. Angel's families, whose lives have been shattered by illegal immigrant criminals with no right to be in the country, are calling on Congress to pass President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill. And this is according to the New York Post. Angel families whose loved ones have been killed by illegal immigrants and gang members are urging congressional Republicans to pass President Trump's big, beautiful bill to seal the border and fast-track deportations once and for all. So we write to you not as politicians or pundits, but as parents, mothers, and fathers who have buried our children because of the United States government failure to secure the border. And they said this in an open letter to the United States Congress. There can be no justice for our children, but there can be accountability, there can be action, and there must be change. We urge every member of Congress to support the one big, beautiful bill and to vote to secure the border, protect our communities, and prevent the next American family from living our nightmare. More than 60 Angel relatives co-signed the letter, including the mother of Jocelyn Nungary, whose 12-year-old daughter was allegedly murdered by 2 illegal migrants, and the family of Laken Riley, a Georgia nursing student who was killed by a Tren de Aragua gang member from Venezuela. In their letter, the Angel family said that for too long now, they have been ignored, dismissed, or labeled as political props. Every single one of us is living with a permanent hole in our lives because of an illegal immigrant who never should have been in this country, who was allowed to stay and take an innocent life. They added to that letter that these were preventable crimes and tragedies, and yet year after year, Washington offers excuses instead of solutions. That must come to an end. You know, this dates back to the Reagan years, and it's the fault of the Republican Party and the Democrat parties as a whole to not find comprehensive immigration reform. They kick the can down the road. It's why we need term limits for the United States Congress. Enough has gone by. Enough tragedy has gone by, dating back to Kate Steinle in 2014 when she was shot in San Francisco right in front of her father. The last image he has of her, the last image she has on this earth, being held by her father as he was trying to get emergency support for her as she was shot in cold blood by someone who was released 7 times with heinous records, mind you. This is dating back to good old Kamala Harris and her office in the DA office of San Francisco. It's disgusting. It's something that really grinds my gears because this is preventable crime. This is something your government should be able to prevent by just simply enforcing the laws. And thank God that the MAGA Republicans, President Trump in office, doing something as that, and going back to the joint session of Congress when he spoke on March 5th, all we needed was a change in the president. We didn't need anything else. Because remember, Otto Penn said he needed comprehensive immigration reform in a bill. No. The president and his Otto Penn members, in addition to Alejandro Mayorkas, opened the border, and they let criminals in, and someone should be prosecuted for it, quite frankly, and justice is coming. The border is now secure, and thank you to President Trump. Borders are Tom Homan, Kristi Noem of DHS, Kash Patel of the FBI, Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, and countless law enforcement members, whether they be local, state, or federal. Even Governor Glenn Youngkin saying there's nothing like having an FBI at DHS that works for you, the American people, and rounding up dangerous Trende Aragua and MS-13 and border cartel members. They are foreign terrorists. They are now going back either to their homeland to face prosecution, to Guantanamo to face sentencing, and thank you to partners like El Salvador who have helped assist and aid in this endeavor. Well, it's about 4 minutes after 4 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock on the West Coast. If you're just joining us now, I'm Robert McNeely. Always a joy to be with you on the right side of history as President Trump, on a lighter note, welcoming those Florida Gators to the White House to celebrate everything that he enjoys. Sports, the culture, politics. President Trump has been an icon of our American society dating back to when he started building those skyscrapers in his 20s and 30s, and then The Apprentice and everything else he's done in order to now become the 45th and 47th President of the United States. He's a citizen president serving you and the American people during this golden era. Thank you to angelpaste.com. Experience the miracle today, whether it's the original Miracle Cream, vitamin B infused, non-GMO, no chemicals, so it's good to go on your skin. It keeps it glowing and refreshed. As you look at a natural mosquito repellent, also the orange option, an immunity builder filled with vitamin C, again, non-GMO, no chemicals. They also have a nice facial spray for you, the American people. So go to angelpaste.com. They're Christian-owned out of Spring, Texas, just outside of the Gulf of America in the Houston Metroplex, a lovely place to live, and many great patriots calling Houston, Texas home, including people like Dinesh D'Souza and his family. So go to angelpaste.com. Again, Christian-owned. They hire veterans, and it's the miracle that you need to experience today. Thank you for your sponsorship of the right side of history. As we await President Trump greeting the Florida Gators at the White House today. Some other news: President Trump welcoming the South African president and that delegation to the White House. In the earlier stream, you might have seen some of the fireworks go off with those fake news reporters in there trying to divert to other topics or issues when you had there right at hand what was taking place. And so sad to see what's happened in South Africa over the course of 35 to 40 years. Not necessarily this government in power right now, but there are mainstream political parties in South Africa calling for the killing of farmers based on ethnic roots and backgrounds. It's not something that Nelson Mandela would have wanted. He was someone who preached peace. He was someone who suffered racism and being objectified and put in prison for his freedom of speech. It's not something he would like to see his country go down that path to almost live in fear. In fact, many of these Afrikaners coming to the United States now, these people, over 70 to 80% of South African farmers are white, and they're being persecuted against. And sadly, many in the American media claim that President Trump is putting white people above of everyone else. Has nothing to do with that when you're seeking refugee status in the United States, but rather, are you truly a refugee? Is your government coming after you? Do you have major political parties threatening your life simply for the color of your skin? He was asked this just last week on Air Force One and answered it candidly and just mentioned to the reporter how stupid and ignorant that question was. And it really is. It's sad that the lamestream media is out there making those claims, but that's why we here at Right Side Broadcasting Network bring you all the speeches, we bring you all the hearings, we bring you all the meetings, so that you, the viewer, can make up your own mind for yourself, not just a silly headline that's trying to rewrite history. So this president committed to that, showing a video in the Oval Office of what was taking place in not just a small situation, but a rather large situation of this one party, a far-left socialist party, calling for the killing of white farmers in South Africa. So, as President Trump does, using sports and pop culture with great golfers like Retief Goosen and Ernie Els, personal friends of the president, who have dual citizenship here in the United States, but also mention that they are first and foremost South Afrikaners, and they love their native country, and they love not only the beauty of it, but the traditional culture, and that they'd like to see it made great again. And first and foremost, two wrongs don't make a right, and the apartheid legacy should not continue in the form of this egregious racism taking place. But that's the goodness of the United States. That's the goodness of this country, especially if you have a student in school and they listen to some far-left professor on campus saying that the United States is not good. Again, look at Our Lady Liberty in the New York Harbor. That bright light saying, give me your huddled masses, you're poor, you're tired. Those longing and yearning to be free. That's what this country is all about. A melting pot, regardless of race, creed, political ideology, sexual orientation, national background. That's the beauty of America. And although so many countries around the world have freedom, and mostly because of the United States post-World War I and World War II, handing that freedom over to people, saving them from totalitarianism, handing them back their native lands. This country is still that beacon of hope nearly 250 years after its inception, that all of us are created under God with certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And we believe that deeply here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and we hope you do too, and we hope the viewers here will share that with everyone, whether it's by liking, sharing, subscribing via your favorite social media app, but also by tuning in and sharing with those that this exists. Because sometimes I hear, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this great network was out there as our live desk, or I did not know that the Trump Rally Network has become more of this live desk so you can see all of these hearings now, and the president's speeches and the different events and where he travels, either domestically or throughout the world, in order to make America safe again, strong again, healthy again, ultimately wealthy again, and great again. Now 100 plus days in the Oval Office, and it's an exciting time for this golden era, a golden era not only for the United States, but for the rest of the world. Kalski.com/RSBN. You can look under my chin right now. You might have that QR code there that you can scan and go right to that. But trade on the most important bets that are in our culture right now, whether it's stateside or whether it's abroad. Are egg prices going to continue to go down? Will these Florida Gators defend their championship? How about the LA Dodgers? Will they win the World Series again? It's all those kinds of questions amongst more for you right there at kalshi.com/RSBN, your go-to for trading and betting on just about everything out there. So kalshi.com/RSBN. It's a great way to be involved and have some fun with all those different things happening out there in your society. So kalshi.com/RSBN. Thank you for your sponsorship. As I'd like to share, Secretary Hegseth made a statement yesterday directing the Department of Defense to review U.S. military withdrawal from Afghanistan under the Penn administration. 3.5 years ago, the Biden administration's disastrous and embarrassing withdrawal from Afghanistan led to the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and 170 civilians in a suicide bombing at the Kabul International's Abbey Gate. President Trump promised accountability for what transpired on that day. The withdrawal that was premature and Penn's betrayal of our American military. Today, this is yesterday, I am directing, this is Secretary Hegseth, the Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs and Senior Advisor Sean Parnell, to convene a special review panel to the Department into the United States military withdrawal from Afghanistan. Sean was wounded in action along with 85% of his platoon and lost countless friends to the war on terror. It is fitting that he will lead the effort to re-examine previous Abbey Gate investigations conducted by U.S. Central Command during the Biden administration. In addition, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, a combat-decorated Marine veteran and officer who spoke out about the Afghanistan withdrawal, and Jerry Dunleavy, an author, journalist, and investigator who helped lead the House Foreign Affairs Committee on this investigation into the Afghanistan withdrawal, will serve on the special review panel. Sean and his team will look into the facts and report that to you, the American people. Examine the sources, interview witnesses, analyze the decision-making, and post-mortem the chain of events that led to one of America's darkest moments. Sean and his team will provide updates at the appropriate times to keep the American people informed of our findings to any directed actions resulting from our review. So that will be forthcoming as we await President Trump welcoming the Florida Gators to the White House. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with you.
Healthcare should be simple, not a constant battle with red tape, restrictions, and shortages, right? You shouldn't have to jump through hoops to get the medications you need. That's why you have to check out All Family Pharmacy. They believe in your right to choose and make it easy to get essential medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, all kind of different antibiotics and supplements. Just visit allfamilypharmacy.com, select what you need, and they handle the rest. They connect you with a licensed doctor that gets the prescription, and then the meds are shipped straight to your door. It's that simple. Healthcare.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, the 91-year-old formulator of Immuno 150, an incredible nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it. Now, Immuno 150 is different because it contains 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Dr. Linus Pauling, known for vitamin C, was instrumental in convincing me to get into the mineral business in 1983. He said the world is sick due to a lack of minerals in topsoil. He said the body needs 60 minerals, but the average food and supplement has no more than 12. That's the reason for Immuno 150. Since its inception, it's had a powerful impact on the lives of thousands of people who could not get any help from various supplements they took or their doctor. Now I suggest you try Immuno 150 to see what 70 minerals, CoQ10, and 80 nutrients can do for you. Look at the 2 videos on our website. Millions have. Now consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. I know you'll be glad you did.
And welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network live as President Trump hosting Florida Gators men's basketball team right there in the East Room. Always a lovely space for the event. We look forward to these teams that come to the White House because President Trump, in a sense, takes a break from the presidency. Of course, he's not, because he's always ready to go. But he's someone who loves sports, jokes around with the team members and also compliments not only their achievements, but what's taken place over the course of their respective seasons. And this Final Four was really one for the record books. And these Florida Gators are champions of the United States of America. It was a little bit of a heartbreak for us because our Auburn Tigers, they hit that Final Four. They did it so well. Coach Bruce Pearl, what an all-star in his own right, who talked about his team building men, building their characters. And we've seen it here in the Auburn community and throughout whatever they may do, whether it's going on to the NBA, into professional life as well. It's remarkable to see that you're not only building great teams, but you're building men in the process. And college basketball, probably one of my favorites to watch out there. It's a good break because I love that college football as we ramp up into the summertime here, getting ready for fall football. But it's a nice in-between with that March Madness. And it's great to see a team like Florida enjoying President Trump today and the staff in the White House. And I wonder, he will probably bring them into the Oval Office because they have to see the Declaration of Independence. And many players from different professional teams and college teams taking place in all those celebrations, recently taking pictures with the president in the Oval Office, right next to him at the Resolute desk, and then also taking pictures next to perhaps favorite portraits of some of their favorite presidents and that big, beautiful declaration. And it almost seems as if something is added on a daily basis to the Oval Office. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt mentioning yesterday that his favorite room is the Oval Office and that he's made it all ornate with that gold as she was addressing kids of the media, the sons and daughters of those who work at the White House, whether it's the in-town press pool or those staff members at the White House. We know that communications team, I think our good friend Harrison Fields, I think, had their son there. Also, Sunny Joy Nelson had her baby, and Caroline as well. So great to see the press and comms team celebrating in that as well yesterday. And you're looking live now at the East Room. The Florida Gators are in the house, excited to celebrate with President Trump and the Final Four championship. They are your champions this year, and we look forward to all of the celebrations and what President Trump has to share in the meantime. But lots going on today at the White House. If you did not catch earlier, President Trump meeting with the South African president, his respective delegation, and addressing those tough topics. It was respectful, but there's also a crisis happening in that country with incredible, terrible racism happening and major political parties calling for the genocide of these white farmers. The United States have taken many in, not an egregious amount by any means, but many, many farmers seeking asylum and refugee status from being persecuted in the country. And the South African president mentioning that he has teamed up with opposition leaders where he can to bring together a majority government. They are a parliamentary system in order to try to stop more of the extreme voices in that country. But as President Trump mentioned, it's not just a small rally of, say, 10, 20 people calling for horrible, horrible things to happen. These are stadium filled with people calling for genocide, calling for the elimination of 70 to 80% of farmers who take care of their agricultural prowess and could end up harming the country in itself. And it's crazy to think about that people will want to harm themselves and harm their own country and their fellow countrymen, but that does happen around the world. And President Trump, what we've seen in his successes over 100 plus days is that he sees the world for what it is, not for what he wants it to be. He has clear-eyed glasses, not the rose-colored glasses of the Barack Hussein Obama administration, and of course the Autopen administration, which as day by day goes by, it seems that they will be investigated, as Department of Defense has now been authorized by Secretary Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon to investigate that terrible Afghanistan withdrawal, where we saw people in their 30s, mostly in their 20s, these great servant leaders in the military losing their lives in a botched withdrawal, 80 million plus of our weapons and equipment from the military going into the hands of a radical Afghanistan leadership, and that Air Force strip, that base, now in the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. But thank God President Trump is back in the Oval Office, because we saw last week a very successful trip to the Middle East, bringing in trillions of dollars in AI, technology, manufacturing, national defense and securities, among other industries, coming from the kingdoms of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, those Gulf states looking to continue to build in friendship with President Trump and securing peace in the Middle East. It's the Abraham Accords 2.0 as we await President Trump about to host the Florida Gators and their successful men's basketball team in the East Room of the White House. Thank you to mypillow.com/RSBN. I'm sure you're about to hit the beach starting this weekend. It's 50% off the beach sale. Get ready for Memorial Day through Labor Day. It's the unofficial kickoff of summertime as we honor those who have laid down their lives for this great nation. Perhaps no greater supporter of American principles than Mike Lindell himself. So why not support America First policies by supporting Mike Lindell and RSBN? Shop now at mypillow.com/RSBN. Save with code RSBN, easy to remember, or call today. Don't delay. 800-836-7566. 50% off the beach sale. Look at those beach chairs, those towels. We know it's high quality American-made products right out of the beautiful state of Minnesota, where Mike Lindell has all of his manufacturing outlets and factories, and where his team is based. They're great people. Helped him on many occasions for different things, whether it be Truth Social to our work in the media. But thank God for Mike Lindell. As President Trump said back in Warren, Michigan a few weeks ago, is there any better marketer than Mike Lindell? Maybe Mike and Mr. President Donald Trump might have a show, maybe a spinoff of The Apprentice after his tenure. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, mypillow.com/RSBN. Support Mike Lindell and our efforts here on the right side of history. Thank you, sir, for your sponsorship. We love your stuff. As we await President Trump in the East Room, ready to welcome the Florida Gator basketball team. And an exciting time for the SEC conference, where it matters more, quite frankly. But for a long time, they weren't as good in basketball as they are in football. It was more the Big Ten dominating basketball among other conferences. Well, that kind of got flipped on its head this past year with teams like Alabama, Tennessee, our team right here, Auburn, the Tigers, going deep into this competition to the Final Four, something not easy to achieve. And of course, Mr. Matthew Alvarez traveling out to San Antonio, Texas. If you caught that coverage, the RSBN Sports coverage of the beautiful downtown San Antonio, everything happening there, a premier spot for conferences and for something like the Final Four to take place in this great nation. And what a day it is for these young student athletes who are role models in their own right, whether they're going on to the NBA or continuing to serve in their respective roles on the team currently. It's something that they build up towards. And we saw this with our own coach here in Auburn, Bruce Pearl, who really focused on praying before and after competition, who wanted to build up the entire person of the student athlete. And that's what's key in the name, first and foremost, student athlete, student first, athlete second, even though they might be going pro as well. And even though it's important for each and every school, not just for bragging rights, but for also the wealth of the school and the image of the school. But this is so good why President Trump wants to be involved in every aspect of the culture. And I can remember going to a Young America's Foundation, a great organization, mind you, that former Governor Scott Walker is still at the head of that, running that, a great organization that brings students out to the Reagan Ranch, as well as helps bring them into activism roles or prepares them to be on the right side of history. I can remember going to an event in Wisconsin with a conjunction with Turning Point USA back during my days there. And it was Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, and his lovely wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, a great media host in her own right, talking about how President Trump, the difference between him and Mitt Romney, remember that guy, former senator, former governor, failed presidential candidate, and quite frankly, a globalist loser. He never wanted to address the culture. He actually thought himself above it. But President Trump, what made him different with the tweeting, with going on to different shows, calling in, talking about things all the way back to 1987 when he would go on the Oprah Winfrey Show. He always gave his 2 cents on politics, sports, what was happening in the United States. And a lot of people said, wow, the common sense that this man has and the business acumen and his wisdom, maybe he should run for president of the United States. And it caught the attention of Roger Stone. Heck, it caught the attention of Oprah Winfrey, as she wrote, as we know in letters to Trump, that, Dear Donald, I think we should run together. Can you imagine how much we would solve, you and me on the same team? But unfortunately, she got hijacked by that deep state, far-left globalist apparatus, a dying amoeba as it is. But nonetheless, very sad that she betrayed her friendship with our great president. But as President Trump said, she used to come to Mar-a-Lago all the time, and her order was the biggest turkey sandwich with pesto on it and at least 2 slices of key lime pie. So Oprah, you're always welcome to join us on the right side of history for that delicious food that's at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe you should go back and visit the president, who looks like he might be walking in with the Florida Gators. Let's toss it there to the world champion Florida Gator men's basketball team being hosted in the East Room of the White House.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by head coach Todd Golden.
It's a big crowd. That's really, really nice. I just met you, Coach. Now I see why you won. But they are tall. Wow. Tall guys, good-looking guys, huh? Congratulations. Fantastic job. That's not easy, right, Coach? But today we're delighted to welcome the 2025 NCAA basketball champions, the University of Florida Gators. Congratulations. Hello, Tim. Congratulations also to a really great young head coach, Todd Golden, on the entire job he did, the season, the inspiration that he gave these players. He's unbelievable as a coach. I heard a lot of great things about him. Oh, would I like to be his agent? Don't go anywhere, Coach. Stay, Coach. You can't leave. And joining us this afternoon is University of Florida's interim president, Kent Fox. Kent? Good. Congratulations. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. Keeping us safe. And, of course, there's no bigger Florida fan than Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Is Marco here? Pam, why don't you and Marco come up? Come up. Senator, come on up. Get up here. Come on up here, Senator. And I see Marco's son, Anthony, is a running back for the Gators football team. Whoa. That's not bad. That's pretty good. We're also joined by Senators Rick Scott, Ashley Moody. Rick Scott, where's Rick? Rick? Come on up, Rick. Ashley's up. Representatives Aaron Bean, Gus Bilirakis, Vern Buchanan, Kate Kamek, and if you want, come on up. This stage is meant for a lot of people, actually. Byron Donalds, Randy Fine. Randy, come on up, Randy. Congratulations on your election. I was worried about you, Randy. I was worried. He ended up winning by 16 points, right? I wasn't too worried. Scott Franklin. Scott, thank you very much. Carlos Jimenez. Where's Carlos? Come on up, Carlos. Good guy. Mike Herodopoulos. Laura Lee. Laura Lee. Look at this. Hi, Greg. They don't have your name down. Greg, get up here, Greg. Greg Stubbe. Anna Paulina. Luna. Anna. Come on, Anna. Jimmy Petronis. Jimmy, congratulations. That was a big election. We got them all. We have Greg up here. Thanks as well to the wonderful members of the Florida State Legislature, and a very special thanks to the NFL legend and University of Florida. I mean, one of the greatest players I've ever seen. I'll tell you what, as a college player, maybe the best ever, and you did damn well. And you did damn well in the pros, too. He was great. Despite being on the Jets, you did damn well. Come on up here, Tim. You got to come up here. Tim Tebow. And he's a terrific guy. He is a terrific guy. He's a winner. Boy, he was a winner. Well, you win two, right? And you almost won a third. There's nobody did much better. Nobody did that. I think he goes down really as one of the best, maybe the best college football player, if you think about it, we can only base that on results, right, Tim? Which is all that counts. A great guy, too. The 2025 University of Florida basketball team was one for the history books, and I saw a few of those games, and they were tough games against great teams. You brought home the third national title in program history and made Florida the only Division I program ever to win 3 national titles in both basketball and football. That's not bad. The team was hot from the very beginning, starting off the year with a 13-game winning streak and roaring to a 27-4 record in the regular season against really, really good competition, including 2 wins over number 1 ranked opponents. In one of the pivotal moments early in the season, the Gators found themselves in a fierce battle with South Carolina, a great team, trailing the Gamecocks 52-38, Coach. That's pretty good, Coach. They're not too happy about it, are they? That's one of those, you're happy, but they're not happy. when that happens. With 12 minutes left in the clock, fighting against time, the Gators clawed your way back into striking distance. With just 5 seconds left in the clock, senior guard Will Richards seized his moment. And drove in hard to sink a game-winning layup, earning Florida a 70-69 come from behind victory. Well done. Where's Will? I want to see this guy. That's great, Will. Boy, oh boy, these are good-looking guys. And they're definitely tall. One of my guys said downstairs, he's a big guy, he said, these are the tallest human beings I've ever seen. You know, I have a son who's 6'9", but 6'9's not, I now see, you know, he always says, Dad, I'm not that tall compared to some of these guys. And now I understand what he's talking about. By the SEC tournament, Florida truly caught fire. The Gators even set a new tournament scoring record when you beat Alabama 104-82 in the closing minutes of the SEC championship game against Tennessee. The Volunteers cut the Gators' 13-point lead down to 5. Ooh, that's called sometimes choke time, Coach. That's never good when you take that big lead and you're thinking about your victory speech. And you forget to play basketball, right? You forget you got to play golf or basketball or whatever. And then all of a sudden you say, oh, man, we could lose this sucker, huh? That's never good, but you handle it. The pressure was on. You handle it. That's when star senior guard Walter Clayton Jr. I'll tell you, I hear he's really good. See, he's really rich, too, you know that. Seize control of the game.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Right? Not yet. Is he coming back, Coach?
No, he'll be playing the NBA next year.
Well, then he's rich. No, I hear he's unbelievable. Special. Going to be a very early draft choice, sir, I think. If they're smart. If they're smart. Seized control of the game and scored 8 straight points, leading the Gators to your first SEC championship in 11 years and earning himself a title in tournament MVP. That's great. A lot of MVPs up there. Up next was the big dance. Florida opened March Madness with a commanding win over Norfolk State and followed it up by edging out two-time defending champ UConn. That's tough. And a thrilling 77-75 win. Some of these games are close, Coach. Eh? You know what they say about those close? That means they have a good coach.
I don't know about that.
You won a lot of close games here. The Elite Eight brought to a face-off with Texas Tech down by 9. With under 4 minutes left, Florida responded with a furious rally led by sophomore Thomas Hawk, who made back-to-back three-pointers. Back-to-back. He's got good hair, too. Nice hair. He's got no hair loss problem, I can tell you. Thomas was still on full display as he earned his 4th double-double of the season by recording 20 points and 11 rebounds while against the Red Raiders, and with an 84-79 victory over Texas Tech, you punched your ticket to the Final Four. Not easy to do. Thank you. Not easy to do, fellas. Facing off against top-seeded Auburn, Walter Clayton again. Walter Clayton. This guy, Walter Clayton, has to be very... Walter Clayton Jr. turned in another big performance, dropping a career-high 34 points and became the first player since Larry Bird. How good was Larry Bird? In 1979 to score 30 points or more in both the Elite Eight and the Final Four. That's some competition. They like Larry Bird. I do, too. So in the championship game against the Houston Cougars, what became one of the most hard-fought title games in college basketball history, the first half was a battle over every point, with both teams playing ferocious defense and the lowest scoring first half of a championship game since 2011. The Gators fell behind, and it was looking bad. But in the second half, Florida stormed back with a 14-3 run. That's not bad. With less than 60 seconds left on the clock, Houston led by 1 point. Did you think you were going to win?
I did.
That's what he gets paid for. That's good. Houston then fouled Elijah Martin. Okay, where's Elijah? Giving him 2 free throws, which he easily sank. Were you nervous? I always think, here's a guy. He's got to sink. It's not that easy. I can name a couple of very big players that didn't do too well in that circumstance. Were you nervous when you were up? No. That's pretty good. He sank them both, Coach, right? Oh, if you didn't sink him, you wouldn't be up here right now. And nobody would ever call you again. That's great. That's a lot of pressure. That's a tremendous thing. Houston fouled junior guard Denzel Aberdeen, who expanded Florida's lead again, and that's great. Where's Denzel? I love that name, Denzel Aberdeen. I have a place in Aberdeen, Scotland. I like that name, Aberdeen. And he's a good player, Coach. I'd like to have him say, no, not that good. You look like a good player. On Houston's final possession, the Gators clamped down, pressured the ball. That's right, I saw that game. That was a crazy game. And forced a turnover. The ball rolled loose, and the Gators clinched the national championship 65-63 in one of the most exciting games and championships they've ever had. That's great coaching. Lesser teams would have crumbled. That was a hell of a game. Tim, what do you think? Pretty good, right? The best. That was pretty good. And under that pressure, very few teams could have withstood that. That was an amazing moment, actually. And those 2 free throws by Denzel were pretty amazing. But time after time, you refuse to let up. I mean, think of it, all these close games and against great teams, and a lot of those guys are going into the NBA. And you won, Coach. You just kept winning. You refused to let up when the odds were against you, and that's the mark of true champions, all of you. The coach is great, and the team is great, and the coach feels really, I asked him, first question, how do you think you'll do this year? You know, in other words, forget about last year. How you doing this year, right? We always think forward, Coach, but he said he thinks he's going to have a fantastic team. Will you go in ranked top 5 or so, or 1, or maybe?
I think we'll be top 5.
5? Good, Coach. That's good. Well, if you're top 5, that means with you as a coach, you're going to win, right?
Well,
so I think so. So, again, congratulations to a well-earned victory, and all I can say is go Gators. We love you in Florida. I'll tell you, we love you in Florida. And now, Coach Golden. Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Whoa, my passport. First of all, thank you, Mr. President, for inviting my team and our program to the White House to celebrate our national championship. It means everything to us, so thank you very much.
And we're going to take you to the Oval Office.
We're going to go to the Oval Office after this. Yeah, and then we just want to thank all of our friends and family and supporters of our program that are here today, enjoying this moment and celebrating with us. If it wasn't for your all support all year, we wouldn't be here. So thank you all very much. Mr. President, I like to think of our program similarly to how you think of the United States. We're a meritocracy. All right, we work really, really hard, no matter what you look like or where you come from. If you put the team first and win, we're going to play you. And we have a program full of that, guys that have great attitudes, great work ethics, most importantly, want to be at the University of Florida. All right, we have young men that have great physical tools, great basketball talent. In fact, as Mr. President said, a number of these guys will be participating in the NBA next year or when their time at Florida is up. But the reason why we were successful this year is we had incredible team talent. We had guys that were willing to play together, sacrifice individual stats and records for the greater good of the group, and it led us to a 36-4 record and a trip to the White House. I'm incredibly proud of my players and our staff and the work that we've done over the last year. And our goal is to do everything we can to put ourselves in position to be here again next year. But we got a lot of work to do in the meantime. But again, Mr. President, thank you so much. And to show a token of our appreciation, we have an autographed team basketball and a Donald Trump jersey with number 47 on it. All right. To honor your 47th term as President of the United States of America.
Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Go Gators.
I'm not sure they'll want to. I think the most exciting room anywhere in the world is called the Oval Office. And I'm going to invite the coach and the team down to the Oval Office. I might even ask our great representatives, senators, Marco, everybody to come down with them. And we'll take some pictures in the Oval Office. And I have a special little coin for them, a really nice coin. I hope they never lose it, because if they do, it's a lot of money, that coin. But so let's see. Do you want to go to the Oval Office?
Yes, sir.
I thought they were going to say that. Thank you all very much. Great team, great everything. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Coach Todd Golden and his Florida Gators basketball team, with many important Floridians there. Not only President Donald Trump, but Senators Rick Scott, Ashley Moody, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Tim Tebow was back there as well. Saw Congressman Donalds, I think Congresswoman Kat Kamik, and a few other great dignitaries there celebrating this huge victory. So congratulations once again to the Florida Gator basketball team. As we thank our sponsors here on the right side of history, Colonial Metals Group. Get this, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Paul Stone, the CEO, would like you to scan that QR code. Shield your savings now, whether it's properties, assets, a 401k, or IRA. We know our viewers are smart here at the network, but it's really good to add gold and silver to your portfolio, whether it be that tangible metal that has gone up over 7,000% since 1971 when the Nixon administration went off of the gold standard. Yes, that is gold. That has always worked out regardless of who's in charge and regardless of what kind of government you live under. It is not like paper money. You can actually back it up against everything. And even with the dawn of crypto and how exciting that is, that's not going to stop the Chinese Communist Party with their war games, their tariffs, and buying up primetime American farmland. But how can you protect yourself? It's with gold and silver, and the best in the business, Colonial Metals Group, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Once your finances are in order, how about watching out for your health? President Trump recently signed a powerful executive order to lower prescription drug prices across the country. It's a major step forward to fighting to make healthcare affordable, and All Family Pharmacy is your go-to team for this. But while others drag their feet and Big Pharma tries to prevent you from getting those much-needed pharmaceutical drugs, All Family Pharmacy will not waste it. So go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. They are stepping up now to support that vision and put control back into the hands of the American people. With the summer sale running through the end of June, Right now, you can get 20% off everything site-wide, no insurance needed. This company works with licensed doctors in all 50 states, and your prescriptions are shipped fast and directly to your door. Whether you're ordering ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, methylene blue, antibiotics, emergency medical kits, or your daily medications, now is the time to stock up. If you believe in medical freedom and being prepared, then this is your go-to pharmacy. Head over to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and use code RSBN20 for 20% off your entire order. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Take control of your health today and make America healthy again. So thank you for joining us today with some very interesting things happening in your government. An overcast day at the White House, but regardless, it's a golden era. Get all of your America First updates and exclusive offers at rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. If you wish to opine, feedback at rsbn.tv. That's feedback at rsbn.tv. We'd love to know what's happening in your neck of the woods so we could be your voice out there, whether it's inside or outside of the Beltway. We want America to thrive, and we know you do as well on the right side of history. And if you can donate and like what you see with your go-to live desk, text RSBN to 801-801 or rsbnetwork.com/donate. We appreciate you as we bring you all of the latest from your 47th president, your 50th vice president, and your 119th Congress, all live here from the friendliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama. A great, great place to work, live, and have some fun too, especially with those Auburn Tigers just down the street. And if you're still interested in that COVID-19 hearing, you can head over to that link on Rumble. There's also a link via the United States Senate as well, that hearing, which is just fascinating to listen to right now with Dr. Peter McCullough of the Wellness Company, who has been such a stalwart advocate of the truth, and many others testifying to these issues that have taken place over the course of the last few years and changing many people's lives in the course of all of that. So if you want to see all of those details on that bipartisan hearing, go over there for that rest of the COVID hearing still taking place. But again, any America First updates and exclusive offers right there for you at rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. Well, it's about 5 o'clock somewhere on the East Coast, 2 o'clock on the West Coast. I hope you have a lovely afternoon and a wonderful evening with those you love, friends and family. That's what it's all about on this beautiful Wednesday, Hump Day in America, May 21st, 2025. If there's any breaking news, we'll be right here with you on the right side of history as your go-to live desk. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. I'm Robert McNeely for all of my colleagues here at RSBN Live. Good night. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.